Alright, we are live, ladies and germs, with a Monday matinee. And tonight we're going to be reviewing the Dover race. And I don't really know how to feel about it, to be honest. Well, actually, I kind of do. It still wasn't really that great. But it wasn't terrible either, I guess you could say. But we're going to be getting into all that, and there's also something that happened this past week that kind of pissed me off, and I want to get off my chest. So let's saddle up and lock and load. This is the fuel. What's happening, ladies and germs? This is the Packerman, and welcome to tonight's edition of The Fuel, where tonight we're going to be reviewing the DuraMAX Drydene 400 from the newly renamed Dover Motor Speedway, since it was acquired by Speedway Motorsports Incorporated last year. Well, this race coming into this year was probably the one race that I was least looking forward to be honest, because this track in the past, it just fucking sucks. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. The last couple of years has just not been good. So it's not really been one of my favorite tracks the Cup Series goes to. But what do I think of it from today? It was okay, I guess. I mean, there were still way too many fucking cautions, and there were a lot of dry spots as far as racing was concerned, which is typical of Dover. But I mean, this race did have its moments. There were some good moments during this race. There was some good racing at various points, but I think there's quite a few people that are overrating this race, because there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, it was a good race, and all that other shit. And there are even some people like, Dover should get 2 races back now. Absolutely not. Alright, let's pump the brakes there, homeboy. This track does not deserve 2 fucking days. I'm sorry. The racing there, and how shit the racing has been the last decade, does not warrant it having two races. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. And Eric Estep gave it a 70 on his Groovy gauge, which I honestly think that's just giving it too much credit. I mean, I know he kind of raced a little higher than usual, because he's more of a positive person. By the way, congrats to Eric on getting that Goodyear sponsorship. Apparently, he's being sponsored by Goodyear now, which is absolute insanity. But that just goes to show you what hard work will do. I mean, he's been working hard at his YouTube channel, and now he's got a Goodyear sponsorship for his show. So congrats to Eric on that. But I just think that's overrating it a little bit. And he's not the only one, to be honest, though. There were quite a few people that were overrating this race. And me, I just thought it was, I mean, it wasn't great, but I wouldn't even call it good, but it wasn't terrible either. It was just, And for Dover, that's a massive improvement because, I mean, y'all know how much I tore apart last year's edition of the Dover race, and considering that this was a meh race, it is an improvement. Now, obviously, there's still a lot more room for improvement, but it's a start at the very least. But going back to 2 dates, no, absolutely not. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the news of the week. Okay, so as we always do with news of the week, we start with the ratings from the previous race, and this saw quite the boost. Talladega pulled in almost 4.7 million viewers for last week's race, which kind of was even with last year. I think they said it was like 1% less than last year, which, I mean, come on, it's pretty much even. Is that really a surprise? No, not really. I mean, it pulls in the most viewership, second most viewership of the year, behind Daytona, of course. Is that a surprise? No. I mean, people love super speedway racing, and, you know, the ratings prove it. But it's a nice jump from the previous week, where I think they had like 4 million viewers for the previous race before Talladega. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was. I'm a little bit tired. But Talladega pulled in almost 5 million viewers for the Cup race. And I think the Xfinity race, because of Jeffrey Earnhardt competing in it and nearly getting a win in the Xfinity Series, pulled in, I think, like over 2 million viewers for the Xfinity race, which was the most viewers for an Xfinity race in 6 years. Because it was an Earnhardt driving a number 3. And then, of course, you had Dale Jr. in the booth, and I think that really helped as well, because, I mean, he just brings so much energy to the broadcast booth, especially for the NBC broadcast, which is why I think a lot of people prefer them over Fox. Fox just doesn't seem to give a shit. But, yeah, it's a nice number, 4.7 million. It really seems like NASCAR is on the uptick this year, and that's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. What is not a beautiful thing is this shit, and this really fucking pisses me off. Denny Hamlin has to undergo sensitivity training because he posted a meme on his Twitter account. So basically what happened was, both of his cars were wrecked at Talladega because of a reactionary move by Larson. He was going for the win. He accidentally got into Kurt Busch, sent him into the wall. Kurt came down and, God, you talk about bad luck, collected his teammate, who took a hard hit into the outside wall, and both 2311 cars were wrecked. So, in response, and bear in mind, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson are really good friends. Like, I think they take the same jet to and from races a lot of times. He posted a meme on his Twitter account, basically taking a jab at Larson, where I guess it was a Family Guy meme, where there was someone basically driving errantly and all that stuff. And apparently, a lot of people in the NASCAR universe, a lot of NASCAR fans got their panties in a twist, so to the point where they forced Hamlin to apologize for the tweet. And then NASCAR on the 26th informed Denny Hamlin that he had to complete sensitivity training, and the process must be started by the end of this week. Let's go into this. This is on NASCAR.NBCSports.com. So NASCAR requires Denny Hamlin to complete sensitivity training after tweet. He tweeted a meme, and here's the thing that got people up in arms. It was a meme of a female Asian driver to depict Kyle Larson's driving at the end of Sunday's Cup race at Talladega Superspeedway. And Larson's name was superimposed over the driver, by the way. So, sorry, this just fucking pisses me off. So, NASCAR informed Hamlin on Tuesday morning that he must begin the process of his sensitivity training by the end of this week. Toyota issued a statement Tuesday. We have spoken with Denny Hamlin regarding his tweet from yesterday. Toyota supports NASCAR's decision to mandate sensitivity training for Denny, and we will all move forward together. And Hamlin apologized Monday night for the tweet he posted and later removed, saying it was a poor choice of means and I saw how it was offensive. I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. I have been hard on Denny Hamlin in the past. I mean, I have ripped his ass on numerous occasions on this show. So, I am not a fan of Denny Hamlin by any stretch of the imagination because he has done some dumb shit in the past. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. Denny Hamlin did not do anything wrong here. Okay? This is not a case of like what happened with Larson where he uttered a racial slur, basically the worst racial slur that you could possibly utter, and he ended up losing his ride as a result. Okay, this is nowhere near that. Okay, some people just don't fucking understand context. They're not intelligent enough to fucking understand context. Okay, Hamlin tweeted a meme, a Family Guy meme, and superimposed Larson over said person to depict Larson's driving at the end of Talladega. He was taking a playful jab at Larson. And yet, the NASCAR fan base got super fucking butthurt over a meme. A meme! A meme! Do I even need to state how fucking stupid that is? So NASCAR, you can take your sensitivity training and stick it straight up your fucking asshole. That's what I think about that. Because this is fucking stupid shit. It's pretty clear that the NASCAR fan base just does not have any fucking balls if this is what they're getting upset over. So I got a suggestion for you motherfuckers that are getting all sensitive over a meme. How about you grow a fucking set and, I don't know, maybe grow a fucking backbone while you're at it. You bunch of fucking pussies. As far as I'm concerned, you have two options in that case. You can either hit the block button, which fucking exists for a reason, or grow a fucking spine. Because it's pretty clear to me that humanity nowadays is full of nothing but a bunch of fucking jellyfish. And why do I say jellyfish? Because jellyfish have no fucking spines. And neither does half this human fucking population, it seems like. Y'all are getting up in arms over a goddamn meme. Get the fuck over yourselves, you pussy ass motherfuckers. I'm about sick and fucking tired of this stupid ass bullshit that we see on social media nowadays. Y'all just try to find something to get pissy about. It's getting fucking old. Grow the fuck up for a change. And I don't know, maybe grow a fucking spine. See, nobody can take a fucking joke anymore. You know, comedy is fucking dead as far as I'm concerned because nobody can take a fucking joke because for some people it hurts their feelings. Fuck your feelings. Maybe you need to grow a fucking thicker skin if you're that fucking butthurt over a goddamn meme. Fuck yourselves. And trust me, I'm not a fan of Denny Hamlin by any stretch of the imagination, but this is fucking bullshit. So fuck NASCAR for that. Oh yeah. Fucking stupid is what it is. Anyway, moving on. Now that I got that out of my system, to something that just makes me kind of shake my head. ARCA driver, and yes, I am talking about ARCA, since it's under the NASCAR banner now, but ARCA driver Daniel Dye was arrested for felony assault. So, what the hell's going on here? Well, Bob Pockris reported this on Twitter. ARCA driver Daniel Dye was arrested on Tuesday on a felony assault charge, which is now a felony battery charge since it was actual physical contact. Charging affidavit states victim, states victim alleges Dye danced in front of him at school, his groin near his face, and after he attempted to push Dye away, Dye punched him in the groin, and the victim is diagnosed with a possible ruptured testicle. Damn. Daniel Dye must have some fucking rocket punches or some shit. Damn, a ruptured testicle? That's a ball buster if I've ever seen one. But, yeah, obviously he's been suspended indefinitely by ARCA. And, you know, this is a guy who is second in the ARCA points and apparently is still in high school. I think he's only like 19 years old. But, cats, quit. The little ones are wrestling. Anyways, so Dye's attorney, Aaron Delgado, says once all the facts come to light, Mr. Dye is going to be completely exonerated. It appears that this was people playing a game at the school and nothing more than that. The school is not taking any action, and we don't think police involvement was warranted. Obviously, there's more to this story than meets the eye, so this is kind of a developing story right now. So we're going to kind of, hold off on this and casting final judgment until all the facts come out. But, yeah. I don't know what the hell is going on here. But, pretty interesting to say the least. But we'll keep an eye on that. And finally, because there is some other big news that came out, but it came out, after Sunday. So I want to save that for next week. The 2022 All-Star Race format has been revealed, and it's radically different from last year. So, let's go to Twitter. And here is the format. So, this is on NASCAR.com. So here is the format for the 2022 All-Star Race. Will you quit jumping around, for fuck's sake? So practice and qualifying format. So they'll get 2 practice sessions, 15 to 20 minutes for cars in the NASCAR All-Star Open, and then 15 to 20 minutes for cars in the NASCAR All-Star Race, those who have already qualified. So then there's All-Star Race qualifying. Round 1 is single car, 1 lap each in reverse order of owner points. And here's the kicker. Top 8 advance to a head-to-head elimination-style bracket. And what that entails is it's the top 8 qualifiers from round 1. And it's an elimination bracket featuring 2 cars staged in side-by-side pit stalls near the end of pit road. Pit crews perform 4 tire stop and drivers exit pit stall onto track, no speed limit. First car to the finish line advances to the next round. Final pairing competes for the pole. I actually find that kind of interesting because it brings the pit crews into it. So it's kind of like a take on the old pit crew competition that they used to have. Except it's for the pole. So that's pretty cool. And then you get to the All-Star Open format, where it's the same as it usually is. 20 laps for Stage 1, 20 laps for Stage 2, and 10 laps for the final stage. Winner advances to the All-Star Race. And stage 2 includes all remaining eligible completed cars. All laps, green and yellow, will be counted in stages 1 and 2, and then only green flag laps will be counted in the final stage. So the leader at the end of stage 1 will be eligible to participate. So basically it's the same thing. The winners of each stage will advance to the NASCAR All-Star race, and then I think they're also going to have a the fan vote as well, as they usually do. And then we come to the All-Star race format itself. So there's 4 stages to this. So stage 1, 25 laps. The stage 1 winner starts on pole in the final stage as long as he finishes 15th or better in stages 2 and 3. So he has to continue to race hard in stages 2 and 3 to keep his pole spot. And then we have stage 2, also 25 laps. The winner of stage 2 starts second in the final stage as long as he finishes 15th or better in stage 3. Here's where it gets interesting though. In between stages 2 and 3, there's a special stage break, a pit stop competition. Each team must pit and perform a 4-tire stop. The team with the shortest time on pit road wins the pit crew award, and the driver will start 4th in the final stage as long as he finishes 15th or better in stage 3. And then in stage 3, the stage 3 winner will start 3rd in the final stage. And then we come to the final stage, which is 50 laps. Stage 1 winner starts 1st, stage 2 winner starts 2nd, stage 3 winner starts 3rd, pit stop competition winner starts 4th. If no natural caution occurs between laps 15 and 25 of the final stage, NASCAR will call an all-star competition caution. And the winner gets $1 million. And that is the all-star format for 2022. I mean, it's fine. I'm not opposed to it. So we'll see if that makes things interesting for the All-Star race this year. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the race review itself. Boom. The Drydene, or the DuraMAX Drydene 400. This is, of course, our 136th episode. Title of this episode is Streakbuster, because there were a lot of streaks broken in this race. Let me get my notes over here. Alright, so obviously Mother Nature had a huge impact on this race. Whoops. I dropped my freaking camera here. There we go. So obviously this started on Sunday and then had to be postponed to Monday due to weather. Stages broke down like this. Stage 1 was 120 laps. Stage 2, 130 laps. And Stage 3, 150 laps. Cars that had to go to the rear of the field. Kurt Busch had a steering issue, so they had to get that fixed, so they had to go to the rear. William Byron with a backup car because he crashed in practice. Todd Gilliland had to make repairs after practice crash, so did Harrison Burton. And Josh Bilicki also had to go to a backup car as well. Alright, so here we go. Stage number 1, 120 laps. Chris Buescher starts from the pole. Yes, the 17 car starts from the pole, and he actually did pretty decent in this race. Denny Hamlin does not get going at all on the inside, did not get a good start. Buescher leads lap number 1, but Hamlin gets it going though, gets back by Hamlin for 2nd. Larson gets by Elliott for 3rd. And we have our first pure lead change on lap 19 with Denny Hamlin taking over the race lead. Buescher gets loose in turn 3, Buescher got loose in turn 3, which allowed Hamlin to take the lead and Larson into 2nd. Larson starts challenging Hamlin for the race lead, and we get our first caution on lap 41, which was the competition caution. Everyone comes in for service, and Hamlin wins the race off pit road. Allmendinger gets caught for speeding. Hamlin leads on the restart, and then this stretch of race was boring as fuck. It was like... And then the second caution came out on lap 69 for rain. Some cars come in for service, some stay out, and then we have a red flag for rain. And that's when the race got postponed to Monday. Several cars came down for service when the race restarts. We had our third caution on lap 88. When it looked like the 38 car got loose and spun in turns 1 and 2, and it looked like the 2 and 12 were involved in that. Cindric tried to do repairs and get back up, but apparently he did not make it off of pit road before his 6 minutes were up, so he was declared out of the race. The damaged vehicle policy sucks. They need to get rid of it because it's fucking stupid. Or at least change it, because the way they got it now just fucking sucks. So Larson leads on the next restart. Elliott takes the lead on the restart. Kyle Busch gets around the outside of Chastain, but Chastain holds him off. Hamlin gets by Larson for second. Allmendinger actually smacks the wall a little bit. Then we have our second pure lead change in lap 112, and Denny Hamlin takes the lead back from Elliott. We have a battle for fourth between Chastain, Truex, and Larson, and Hamlin wins stage number 1. But that's about as good as it got for Hamlin, because everyone comes in for service. Hamlin wins the race off pit road, but then, as he is coming off pit road, he loses the left front wheel. Whoops. So that's going to be a full race suspension for crew chief, Jackman, and tire changer. I think they need to cut that in half. It just feels like 4 races is just way too fucking long, honestly. But that's just me. So we get to stage number 2, which was 130 laps. Chastain leads the start of stage 2. This is when this race got a little wee bit messy. Wait a minute. I'm double checking something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I misnumbered him. Lovely. I was checking the caution count. I misnumbered it. Whoops. Well, I'm a dummy. Oh well, we can fix it here in a minute. Bell gets swallowed up by the field on this restart due to a loose wheel. The wheel did not actually come off though, which with these wheel nuts and tires doesn't really happen. So Bell got really lucky on that front. Truex tries to close on Chastain for the race lead, but then we got our fourth caution on lap 157. And it was the fourth caution, okay. Kyle Larson either gets loose off of turn 4 or blows a right rear tire. Either way, he spins down the front stretch, but great car control and only nudges the inside of the inside wall with the right rear of the car. The right front does come apart and beat the car up a little bit, but he loses like the cowl flap that was right there. But he was able to get back on the lead lap eventually and still salvage a decent finish out of it. Everyone comes in for service and Chastain wins the race off pit road, so he leads on the restart. Justin Haley gets by Truex for second. He took just 2 tires on this caution. Truex gets back by Haley for second and is chasing down Chastain for the race lead. But then we get our 5th caution on lap 189 when Kurt Busch gets spun by A.J. Allmendinger in turn 2 after the 45 car gets loose. Most of the field comes in, but Haley actually stays out along with several others. So Haley leads on the restart. Had 4 wide on the restart. Then we have our 6th caution on lap 195 when Eric Jones kind of does a Kyle Larson impersonation and moves up and actually shoves Logano into the wall in turn 1, and that pretty much ruins Logano's day. He was pretty much off the pace for the remainder of the race. Haley leads on the restart. Larson tries to come back towards the front from the back of the pack after getting back on the lead lap. We have a battle for 4th between Tyler Reddick and Kyle Busch. Busch takes 4th and then 3rd from Reddick and Allmendinger. Bowman challenges Haley for the race lead. Elliott gets by Reddick for 4th, and then Bowman gets by Haley for the race lead for a 3rd pure lead change on lap 210. But then, in a spectacular move, Busch gets by both Bowman and Haley in one fell swoop to take the race lead for himself for a 4th pure lead change on lap 212. Truex gets by Reddick for 7th, then by Byron for 6th, then by Allmendinger for 5th, then by Haley for 4th. In a span of like 4 or 5 laps. So Truex was coming towards the front in a hurry. Elliott gets by Bowman for 2nd. We have a battle for 6th between Hamlin, Haley, Allmendinger, and Chastain. Truex gets by Bowman for 3rd. Reddick starts dropping like a rock after reporting tire issues, and the right front tire eventually did come apart, so he had to pit for service. Haley has dropped at this point all the way back to 16th in this run. Hamlin gets by Bowman for the 4th position. Ty Dillon also has to pit with a flat right front tire. And then we get our 7th caution on lap 241. Who else? Fucking Cody Ware loses it in turn 4, comes down the track and collects Denny Hamlin, who was running 4th. Cody Ware is fucking trash. Get him out of the fucking Cup Series. He is nothing but a fucking weapon out there. Everyone but Ryan Blaney and Harrison Burton come in for service this time around. Kyle Busch wins the race off pit road. And the strategy here for Blaney, he was just trying to get a playoff point and some stage points. So he leads on the restart. Truex and Busch split Harrison Burton for 2nd. Elliott just about brushes the wall but has to get completely out of the throttle. Truex gets loose in turn 4, allowing Bowman to get past for 3rd. And Blaney steals the stage 2 win. So, I mean, the strategy paid off in that sense. So Blaney and Burton come in for service under the stage break. So we come to stage number 3, 150 laps. Kyle Busch leads the start of stage 3. Chastain gets by Truex for 4th. Stenhouse, up to 3rd on this restart, so he's starting to look really good. Blaney nudges Custer in turn 2 after Custer kind of gets loose. Nearly sends the 41 up into the wall, but he's able to save it. We have a battle for 7th between Larson, Buescher, and Elliott. Chastain and Truex get by Stenhouse for 3rd and 4th. Kyle Busch in heavy backmarker traffic at this point, which allowed Bowman to gain some ground on him. Battle for 3rd heats up between Truex and Chastain, who seemed like they were around each other all day. Ryan Preece kicks off green flag stops on lap 313. Kyle Busch and Bowman pit from 1st and 2nd with 78 laps to go, but right as they're on pit road, shit bit of luck. Caution number 9 on lap 324 when AJ Allmendinger loses a right front wheel. Right in the middle of green flag pit stops, and that just fucks Busch and Bowman. They get trapped a lap down and have to take the wave around, so their shot, the win, is pretty much done and over with. That was just shit luck. Everyone who didn't pit under green pits under this caution, and Chastain wins the race off of pit road. So he leads on the restart. Elliott moves up to 2nd on the restart, but then we immediately get our... I said 9th caution earlier, didn't I? It means it should be 8th caution. Then we have our 9th caution on lap 335 when Daniel Suarez spins in turn 3 after sideswiping Corey LaJoie in turn 3. Kind of bounced off him, sent the 7 into the wall, but then went spinning himself. So Chastain leads on the restart. Elliott starts fighting Chastain hard for the race lead. We got our 10th caution on lap 343 when Tyler Reddick loses it off of turn 2 and pounds the inside wall hard. And by the way, during that little exchange between Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain where they were side by side, we actually got our 5th and 6th pure lead changes on lap 341 and 342. So Chastain leads on the restart. Elliott gets the lead on the restart and basically sets sail. Stenhouse gets by Chastain for 2nd. Then Bowman gets by Jones for 6th. Larson gets by Jones for 7th. Then we had a battle between Truex and Chastain for the 3rd position. And that was pretty much the only battle of note on the racetrack. Other than that, it was pretty much see you later, Elliott. He was pretty much gone. Not much happened in this final run of race. The 12th and final caution came on the final lap when Truex spins off of turn 2. It looked like Chastain, kind of slid up a little bit. I guess tried to put a block on Truex, who was trying to make a move on him. Truex, I guess, tried to do the undercut or something like that and spun the car out. He ended up 12th, and the race finishes under caution. I mean, but the race was pretty much, finished at that point. It was academic at that point. Chase Elliott wins the DuraMAX Drydene 400, and he breaks quite a few streaks. He breaks his winless streak, which I can't remember. When was the last time he won? When was the last time Chase Elliott won? Well, let's go to Cup and look at 2021. Road America. So that was like almost 30 races ago. It was actually 27 races ago. if my math is correct here, that was the last time that Chase had won in the Cup Series. It was Road America last year, all the way back in July of last year. So almost a year since Chase Elliott won in the Cup Series. So he broke that winless streak. In addition to that, though, he also broke a winless streak nearly a year and a half in the making. The last time he had won on an oval was at Phoenix 2020, the championship race. He won that race and ended up winning the championship. That was the last time he had won on an oval. And the other streak that he broke was Kyle Busch winning on his birthday. Kyle Busch had not ever lost a race that finished on his birthday. He had won twice before, the only guy to do so, and was going for an unprecedented third victory on his birthday. And Chase Elliott broke that streak. So that's why the name of this episode is Streakbuster, because that's what Chase Elliott is today. And I know Elliott Nation is rejoicing, and the Dawsonville pool room is blaring the siren. Was blaring the siren today after the Dover race. So let's get into stats and awards. And yes, I actually remember to take them off of here, so that way we can go over them one by one. So total laps, it was 400 lap race, 120, 130, and 150. And I forgot to put this on the end. Boom, there we go. Overall lead changes. Actually, one thing I want to do real quick. Let's go back to Racing Reference real quick, because I want to do a comparison. Quit moving around. Of this race to last year's at Dover. Give me 1 second, I'm checking something here. Oh, come on, you piece of shit. Technical difficulties! Come on, I want to know how many pure lead changes there were last year. Come on, goddammit. There we go. Damn, that is a difference, isn't it? Alright. So now that I got that information. So, last year, we had 10 total lead changes in this race 1 year ago. Today, well, between yesterday and today, there were 17 overall lead changes in this race, so an improvement. Last year, there was 1 pure lead change that entire race. This year, 6 pure lead changes, so a massive improvement. Last year, there were 6 cautions. This year, we doubled that. Well, actually, no. It isn't a double, because I have to take away 1 because I miscounted. So there were 11 cautions, so nearly double last year. So that is not an improvement. That's actually not good. But what is a massive improvement is the green flag passes. Last year there was a mind-numbingly low 659 green flag passes in this race 1 year ago, which averaged out to 1.8 per green flag lap, easily the worst of the season. This year, 1,511 green flag passes, which comes out to 4.6 on average. Still not great, but compared to last year, that's nearly 2.5 times more than what we saw last year. So again, an improvement. Your lap leader award goes to Kyle Busch, who led 103 laps on the day, but got burned by a caution flag. Star of the race, I'm going to give this one to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Because he ended up with a runner-up finish. Actually did good. Stayed out of trouble for the most part. Was really not a factor until stage 3, and they really seemed to dial that car in, and he was right there at the end to challenge. Couldn't get the win, but he still did a good job. Ended up with a runner-up finish. Reject of the race, the 11 team. I don't know what's been going on with that 11 team this year, but they have really been shitting the bed this year. You know, mistakes on pit road, speeding, crashes. Of course, what happened, you know, in that one caution where Hamlin was 4th and then got wrecked by Cody Ware's dumbass. That wasn't really his fault, but, you know, the loose wheels, you know, just, I mean, really the only bright spot that this 11 team has had in 2022 was the win at Richmond. Other than that, this team has been dog shit. And if they want to even think about trying to compete for a championship this year, they need to get their shit together. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's a night and day difference compared, you know, when you compare this year to last year. Last year they were finishing top 5, top 10. They weren't winning races, but they were right there competing for them, you know, on a weekly basis. This year they've been absolute dog shit. I don't know what they need to change, but they need to get it done quick. So that brings us to race results and point standings for the DuraMAX Drydene 400. Chase Elliott with the victory. He led 73 laps on the day. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in second. Good run for him. Ross Chastain led 86 laps. Comes home in third. Apparently him and Truex, I guess, had a conversation on pit road after the race. Those two were pretty much around each other all fucking day. I don't really know what was said. I'm not going to say what was said. I mean, because I don't know. But we'll leave it at that. So, there's that. But I'll tell you what, Ross Chastain and that one team for Trackhouse. I mean, maybe we were looking at the wrong person when we were talking about championship contenders. I mean, we first thought it was William Byron. But Byron's been kind of struggling as of late. Whereas you look at Ross Chastain, I mean, he's coming off a win last week at Talladega, and then he follows it up, you know, being a contender here, leading 86 laps, and coming home with yet another podium finish. This is his 6th podium finish in 11 races this year. This is Trackhouse's 2nd year. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than 2311 Racing, they need to get their shit in order, because Trackhouse is making them look like fucking jokes. Because while 2311 may have been the first of the new teams to get a win at Talladega last year, Trackhouse has shown that they're here to play. And they've been doing a damn good job, especially with Ross Chastain behind the wheel of that one car. Christopher Bell, he had loose wheel issues earlier in this race. Comes back for a 4th place finish. Alex Bowman got caught a lap down, comes back to finish 5th. Kyle Larson spins out off of turn 4, gets damaged, finishes 6th. Kyle Busch led the most laps today, got caught a lap down with that caution, still finishes 7th. Chris Buescher led the first 18 laps from pole, comes home in 8th. Kevin Harvick sneaks into the top 10 yet again after being basically nowhere once again. And Eric Jones rounds out the top 10. Camo, what are you meowing about? I don't know why one of my cats is meowing so much. What's your deal, Camo? What's your deal, Camo? What's your deal? Silly cats. Anyways, point standings. Chase Elliott with his lead, or with his win. now has a 50-point advantage in the point standings. And why this is significant? Because of the regular season championship and the 15 playoff points that come with it. He nearly has a full race advantage over Ryan Blaney at this point. William Byron, pretty big struggle today. I think he finished like 24th or something like that. So, not a very good day. This is his third straight race out of the top 10 after coming off a win at Martinsville. 3 straight races not in the top 10. And then you have Kyle Busch. I mean, despite, whether or not, he's going to be back at the 18 next year, it all has to do with sponsorship. Look at what he's doing this year. He's tied for third in the points. He has a win at Bristol. Probably should have a second win at Las Vegas. And, I mean, let's be honest here. Probably should have won today's race, too. I mean, Joe Gibbs, if you can't find a sponsor to keep this guy at this 18 team, based on how he's doing this year, then what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, surely you can come up with some kind of sponsorship to keep this guy at that 18 car. I mean, let's be completely real here. Alex Bowman, 5th in the points. Ross Chastain, 6th. Truex in 7th. Kyle Larson, 8th. Joey Logano, 9th. Christopher Bell in 10th. Rest of the 16 is Christopher Bell, Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, Chase Briscoe, Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, and Tyler Reddick. And then the rest of the top 20, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, Chris Buescher, and Kurt Busch. So, let's go to the NASCAR standings using F1 points, which is my shits and giggles thing. And I've done something a little bit different. I've actually added in the Truck Series and Xfinity Series points. Because again, just for shits and giggles, even though I'm not covering them, this kind of gives you an idea of who's basically dominating where. And who's the guys you should be focusing on as far as the championship. Even though this is not the point system that's used for NASCAR, it's it's with F1 points. This kind of gives you an idea of who's the guys you need to watch in these series. Truck Series points, I'm only going to do top 20 for each series from this point forward. Ben Rhodes in the Truck Series using the F1 system is far and away the points leader. The only one over 100 points, and he's at 150. I mean, he's just been dominant this year in the Truck Series. Zane Smith is second, but he's a ways back. He's 54 points behind Rhodes. Then you have Chandler Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, and Kyle Busch, who's only on a limited schedule, but he's 5th in points. Shows you how good he is. Then you have Stuart Friesen, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, Tanner Gray, and Carson Hocevar in the top 10. Then rounding out, the top 21, since there's a tie down at the bottom there. Former champion Matt Crafton, Parker Klugerman, Corey Heim in the 51 car. Then you have William Byron, Grant Enfinger, Derek Kraus, Ryan Preece, who's been all over the place this year, Johnny Sauter, Tyler Ankrum, Matt DiBenedetto, and Joey Logano. They're all tied for 19th in the points. Xfinity point standings. It's a lot closer between several different drivers. There's 7 drivers over 100 points at this point. But you look at the top. Noah Gragson and AJ Allmendinger at 190. And then you have Ty Gibbs at 170. Those are basically the 3 guys, and probably Josh Berry too. Those are the Elite 4 right now in the Xfinity Series. Gragson, Allmendinger, Gibbs, and Berry. Those are the 4 guys you need to watch week in and week out because they're going to be contending for wins all season long. But with the F1 system, Gragson and Allmendinger are tied. Then you have Ty Gibbs with 3 wins, currently 3rd in points. It's been kind of feast or famine for Gibbs this year. You have Josh Berry in 4th, Justin Allgaier in 5th, Brandon Jones with a win in 6th, Sam Mayer in 7th, Austin Hill in 8th, Daniel Hemrick, the defending champion, in 9th, and then Landon Castle, who's now driving the 10 car for Kaulig, is in the top 10. Rest of the top 20, Riley Herbst, John Hunter Nemechek, who's been driving for 2 different teams this year, Cole Custer, who's on a limited schedule, Trevor Bayne in the 18, yes, Trevor Bayne, Ryan Sieg, who drives for the same team but switched numbers at one point. And you have Anthony Alfredo, Sheldon Creed, who is a former truck champion but just hasn't really gotten it going here in the Xfinity Series, although this is his rookie year. Jade Buford, Jeffrey Earnhardt, of course, who finished runner-up at Talladega, and Brandon Brown in the 68 car. So let's look at what the Cup Series would look like under F1 points. And with his 3rd place finish, Ross Chastain has retaken the lead in the point standings with the 1 points over William Byron, who's been really struggling the last couple weeks. Kyle Larson is third at 139. Chase Elliott with his win moves up to fourth with 136. You have Ryan Blaney in fifth with 125, Kyle Busch with 115, and Alex Bowman with 104. They're the only drivers over 100 points right now. And in eighth place, who had an absolute shit day today, was Joey Logano. Martin Truex Jr., who had a top 5 run going, but then spun on the last lap and ended up 12th. He's ninth in points with 88. Christopher Bell moves into the top 10 with 85. Then the rest of the top 20, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe, Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin, Daniel Suarez, Kevin Harvick, Eric Jones, Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with his runner-up finish moves all the way up inside the top 20 in the shits and giggles portion of the show. And that brings us to the fuel gauge and my final rating for the DuraMAX Drydene 400. I mean, this race wasn't that good. It wasn't that terrible either, but I mean, it just, I don't know. Dover's just not that good of a racetrack, and you know, a lot of people were really overrating this race, in my opinion. I mean, there were a lot of dry spots, and let's not forget, those first 78 laps were pretty fucking garbo from Sunday. I mean, Monday was definitely better. I mean, there were some good spots where some good racing, but let's be honest here. The high number of caution flags and a lot of dry spots, it really hurt this race. And then that final run of race was just boring as fuck. It left a lot to be desired. So I was mad on this race. I mean, it's an improvement from last year. Let's be honest here, stat-wise and everything. It was definitely an improvement over last year's race, but there's still a lot to be desired from this track. So my final rating for the DuraMAX Drydene 400, I'm going to give it a 4 on the fuel gauge. So I'm going on my Bret Hart shit. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Which is an improvement from last year. Last year I gave it a 2, and I thought I was being generous with that 2. This year I'm going to give it a 4, and I think that's a fair score for this one. Like I said, too many caution flags. It was very, very messy, and there were some dry spots during this race, and of course Mother Nature didn't help either. But it wasn't complete garbage. I said back at Talladega last week that I would keep an open mind about this race. And I did, and while I didn't think it was the best thing in the world, it wasn't terrible either. It had its moments. It's kind of like what, you know, we had with Phoenix, where it had its moments, but it wasn't great. And it was also like Richmond, where it had its moments, but it wasn't great. It was kind of similar to those races, which in the case of Dover is not a bad thing. But we really need to pump the brakes on the whole giving Dover a second race back shit. Okay? No, absolutely not. Okay, dealing with 2 Dover races, especially 2 bad Dover races, is fucking headache inducing, and I would rather not go through that again. Okay, the racing at Dover right now does not warrant giving it a second date back. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. Keep it at 1 date for now. I mean, and here's the honest thing: if Dover lost its last date tomorrow, I would not shed a tear. I mean, I'm not a fan of this racetrack, and I probably never will, because it's just been terrible for a decade. That's just how I feel about it. And I'm honestly glad we're past it now, so we can move on to the rest of the season. But next week, we're going to Darlington for the Goodyear 400 and Throwback Weekend, which should be interesting. Mother's Day weekend for the Goodyear 400. Throwback Weekend, which should be fun. It'll be interesting to see what kind of paint jobs the teams come up with this year, which will be interesting. But that's going to do it for tonight's edition of the Fuel Monday Matinee. Once again, it's not the first time we've done it with Dover. We actually did it in the first year of the show. So there's that. But thank you very much for watching tonight's edition of the Fuel. And until next time, this is the Packer Man signing out. See you later. Thank you for watching tonight's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, you jackweeds.